Today's a really interesting topic, and that is raising our wealth and success ceiling. Now, whether you're at 5 grand and you want to go to 10, 10 and you want to go to 50, 50 and you want to go to 100 grand a month, all of these things are possible. But most common thing that happens when I suggest this as a possibility of raising your internal neurological and energetic set point for success and wealth to conscious and spiritual entrepreneurs, the most common thing that happens is they tell me, I don't know what that feels like, which is a valid response and such an important one because you've done so much feeling and embodiment work. Now, most other courses out there are going to tell you that you just need to change your mindset or you just need to get more tenacious. And those things may happen, but usually for someone like you, it's not enough. So we have to find our way into how do we actually feel what it feels like to have this level of achievement and success, and find the blocks ahead of time so we can navigate around them and set a point, a set point or a flag in the future, as I like to say, in this new identity. Because as you've heard me say, really the nature of success is how do I be the entrepreneur who can do the things to have the success that I want. So that being is fundamental to the doing, and in order to have the being, we need to have some sort of either felt sense or embodied identity in order to be physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So I'm going to recommend 3 different ways that we do this. And one of them is likely to resonate more with you, and use that tactic until it feels really normal and natural. And then you can start living into it. But I want to present 3 so you have some options. And these 3 are based in the primary fundamentals that all of reality are built on, the big 3 from Greek metaphysics, which is the I, the you, and the it. So the I, the you, and the it are the primary, the fundamental domains of all of reality. If we look at everything, it is either an I, a you, or an it. So that is the frame that we want to use as we are raising our success ceiling. So let's start with the it. The it happens for most conscious and spiritual entrepreneurs when you put yourself in environments that are opulent. You put yourself in spaces that help you to feel a different way, to feel rich, to feel wealthy, to feel what it feels like to naturally move through those spaces. And I know a number of entrepreneurs who will take their afternoon work, their laptop, and find the most expensive hotel bar in a big city and go do work in that bar in the afternoon. And part of what it helps them do is to acclimatize themselves to not spend a lot of money, but to actually feel what it feels like in those spaces, because there is a very particular energy that has been set in those spaces, by the nature of the space that it's itself, the expectations of what it takes to be in those spaces, and just naturally the people moving through those spaces. So one of the things that you may choose to do is find the most opulent space that you can put yourself in and just go be there. Now, some people may push back against this, that they don't want to be part of big capitalism or they don't want to be part of materialism, and that's valid. But there is a way in which opulence works in the world that is correlated with capitalism and materialism. And one of the things that I see happen is that there's this noble sentiment of the conscious and spiritual entrepreneur that I don't want to be that way. It's a beautiful sentiment. And you don't have to be materialist to have a lot of money. You could choose to make $100,000 a month and still live in the same apartment or home that you're in now, still live at the same means and the same standards that you are now. All of that is fine. You can have the same needs, desires, and way of being. And there is a set point that we need to define for you of what that looks like. So that's the first one. And when we do the meditation, we're going to imagine this space. The second one is the you. So do you know people who are outrageously wealthy? Do you know people who are millionaires, decamillionaires, centimillionaires, or billionaires? Have you spent time around them? When you are around them, and you're tracking, you're noticing, you're feeling, you're sensing, what do you notice? Now, there's usually a couple things that when I ask this question to people I'm working with, they notice. The first is they don't notice anything different. And that's actually a massive relief because they have the realization this person is not that different from me. Yes, they have a very different way of thinking, but energetically, they're not more open, they're not more capable, they're not more skillful, but they do have a different way of operating in the world. Or they notice that this person is, in fact, more energetically open, more energetically available, more prone to risk taking, and more prone to excitement or passion or whatever it is. And any of these things are fine. It's a good juxtaposition to notice what the way that we feel when we're around these people. And one of the things that I sometimes do as an exercise, I mean, I've been around a number of these people, but even when I'm not, and we'll do this in the meditation later, I'll feel out into the space, into where they are, and start to track their neurology or even the neurology of millionaire as an archetype, and just see what it feels like, see what I notice, what happens in my own being, what shadow and resistance comes up, what blocks activate in my body, how does the energy start to move differently. And these are all strategies and tactics that I've utilized for myself as I've been raising my prices or about to do an event or something like that. So the third one, we've done the it and the you. We need to do the I. And the thing that we're working with here is that this version of you, to the best that we know so far, is wanting to move into more opulence, more abundance, more wealth, more success. So we need to find the version of you that has access to that. So the most common way that I do this for people is by tracking the future self in a timeline that has already achieved the success that you want. Now, this is again a bit of a mind way of accessing, and an energetic, and we'll do this in the meditation, a kind of a future casting way of finding the self that already has the thing that we're looking for. But it's a really simple way to clue into this version of you that already feels like you, just you enhanced, you that's learned things, you that's had the lessons, you that's already broken through the barriers and the blocks, and you that has the realizations and can share them with you and can start to inform you of what that looks like, how that version of you is and how it bees, and what it's going to take for you to take the step out of where you are now into what you must be being next. So these are the three ways. Again, the it, which is best utilized in spaces. If you are in opulent spaces, multi-million dollar homes, in high-end luxury retreats and resorts, if you're in spaces where the millionaires and billionaires freely roam, what does that feel like? The second is those millionaires and billionaires. When you're around them, when you imagine yourself in their presence, how do you feel? What shadow comes up, what blocks come up, what stories come up. And then lastly, the third one is the I. So that's the future self, the version of you in the future on the timeline that already has everything that you're desiring now. It is the promise of this moment fulfilled. And how do we interview? How do we explore? How do we learn from that future version and pull that back into the present moment so we can start to anchor it in our neurology? So that's how we're going to utilize this lesson today. I'll see you in the exercise and the meditation.